not only are reviews gold mines, they're also the canary in the gold mine, in the sense that Amazon will be taking much stronger action if they see these negative reviews. Amazon is now metricing people on the amount of negative reviews, the percentage. If you get bad reviews, Amazon could end up suspending your listing.
At the end of the day, you want to hear what your customer's saying. Like if they're not liking something, well, that's your audience. You've got to go straight to them. Reviews aren't just for getting your 5-star ratings and then saying goodbye. They're a really good way of hearing the voice of your customer. What is the biggest brand that you have in your industry as a competitor? What do you think they do when they get a negative review on Amazon? I don't think that your biggest competitors will see a bad review and just leave it and not read it, not respond to it, and not change anything on the listing. I think they'd be missing out on a trick if they were. So what commonly found issues in reviews do you receive? How can you solve them? So we've chosen a coffee brand. It's a Bosch Tassimo coffee maker. It's a generic brand. You can imagine it's very standard on Amazon. The review section was just an absolute gold mine. From a copy and design perspective, it was just an absolute gold mine. So the most intriguing review for me was here. It says the only downside is that the water holder is smaller, so it needs filling more frequently. But at the end of the day, that's a 5-star review, right? So people could have read that, the sellers could have read it, just ignored it and thought, well, great, 5-star review. But the only downside about the water holder being a lot smaller, that tells you something that's been missed in the listing. Where do you think that they could have shown that in the listing? So the downside being that the water holder on the side that you fill up to make a coffee is really, really small. So that could be an issue for some people who are making coffees for the family, if they're having a party. So there are things that they could have done in the listing that could have converted more people. And
what you're saying is that the only downside is the water holder is smaller. Basically, that person is saying smaller than I expected when I bought the product.
Even though that's a 5-star review, I think that's still telling the seller something that they could have fixed. And ultimately, down the line, maybe the next person wouldn't leave that a 5-star review. You've got to try and make sure that even if it is a positive review, that you've really taken into account what they're trying to put across.
You've got to read them, basically. You've got to read them.
And I think even with a simple image of the side, you could put that across. Having an image of the water holder inside the actual machine is a little bit deceptive, because when you take the handle out, the inside of it's actually smaller. So one thing straight off the bat that they could have done is they could have just taken the holder out, or even said the capacity.
Capacity's 2 mugs worth. You're like, that doesn't sound very much.
And having it into something that's tangible, like it's 2 mugs worth,
rather than 150 milliliters, where you're like, how much is that?
But also there's even just a way of phrasing it that it's almost a benefit in a way. So you could say you need add fresh water for each cup. That says instantly to a buyer, to a customer, it may not be that it's a negative, but fresh water, oh, that sounds nice. We don't want to have stagnant water. So bad reviews, they're not chips on your shoulder. They're things that you can look at and respond to.
Not chips on your shoulder, they're nuggets of gold.
It's a gold mine. You can respond to them. You can show future customers, you can show that customer, you can turn them around. Like every bad review is an opportunity to show them just how good you are. A big thing that sellers get, and I think in a lot of industries, a lot of businesses, I think people take reviews personally and believe the customer's being over dramatic or trying to get something. Try and see it as something that's completely serious. Try and see it as that review is, the 1 out of the 100, the thing actually did go wrong. See it as something completely honest and genuine, whether you know it's to be true or not. But the next customer that sees that review will just take it at face value. They don't know who you are. They don't know who the reviewer is. So you have to see it in terms of how is your future customer going to see it?
Amazon is now metricing people on the amount of negative reviews, the percentage, in terms of all of your sales. If you get bad reviews, Amazon could end up suspending your listing. And we have clients where Amazon, in the States especially, where Amazon has suspended the listing because they're saying you're giving a bad customer experience. We have found with a client we have in the States that their descriptions are wrong. The sizing was wrong on the item. People bought it, didn't use it for the right purpose, and it broke. And Amazon then went on and suspended the listing because they said you're not giving a good customer experience. So not only are reviews gold mines, They're also the canary in the coal mine. Amazon will be taking much stronger action if they see these negative reviews. So you need it for your business, not to get the listing suspended further down the line, but also you can improve the listing and update it and stop those random negative reviews because people didn't realize that the water holder was small.
I think people think that a listing, once you've uploaded it, it ends. Even if it's every month, every 6 months, you need to keep looking back and seeing what changes have happened. You might have had a change in the supply. You've always got to make sure that everything in your listing reflects the product and reflects the sign of the times, like what's changed in the culture.